always had a sneaking suspicion that the pictures in my children's Bible of Jesus were a little too pastel, a little too peaceful, that there's something very subversive in the message of Jesus. Today we're treated to the simile of salt and light, which, if we read it for the first time, we would find it very difficult to understand. And all of the layers of explanation and theology that have kind of coded it might not help us better appreciate what Jesus was trying to say in the Sermon on the Mount. That salt and light are not neutral. That when you light a lamp and place it under your bed or under a bushel basket, things don't go dark, it burns down the house. And salt, how does salt lose its flavor? I studied as best I could this week to try to find some explanations. And there's a Jesuit, Father Pilch, who wrote a very compelling study on the use of salt in the earthen ovens of ancient Israel and of Jerusalem and the northern regions in the time of Jesus. That these community earthen ovens would have the same name in Hebrew as the earth. And so when we translate Jesus saying, "You are the salt of the earth," he might very well have been indicating that we were the salt of the earthen oven. I don't know that salt loses its flavor, but salt loses its capacity as a catalyst to keep the fires burning. And those ovens oftentimes had a layer of salt on the bottom, like a plate, to hold the warmth and be a catalyst for the fuel, because they had no wood to burn. What was burned in these ovens would have been donkey dung or cow patties, and the salt assisted in the burning. And so when salt loses its catalytic ability to assist the fire to burn, then it's taken out of the oven and thrown on the ground and trampled underfoot. And Jesus maybe is saying, among many other meanings, similes don't have to have a single meaning, but he very well may have primarily been saying, you are the salt in the earthen oven, and when you're no longer a catalyst, then you're thrown out and trampled underfoot. That we're called to be catalysts, to keep the fire burning. And I think it's fair to recognize, first and foremost, that Jesus is the light of the world, that Jesus is the salt of the earth, or the catalyst in the earthen oven, how he wishes that the flame was burning already. And that we take on that role as his disciples, as his followers, as his body, as the church. And so there's something also subversive about our discipleship, about our church, called to make the fires burn. And I was reflecting this week, for the first time, that there's something the same about both salt and fire, light. You never make light in order to see the light. You make light in order to see something else. If you salt your food and it becomes salty and you taste the salt, you failed. The goal of salt is to make the other food have more of its own flavor. And if we're using the earthen ovens, you don't burn the salt. You burn the dung, but the salt makes it possible. And I don't know if that means that Jesus is showing us the Father and the Father's love, and that it's our job with Jesus to show the Father's love on the earth, or if we're just a light shining so that everything is more visible. and we can see things more clearly and understand them better in this subversive way. That we're called, maybe, to be a light that shines so that the truth can be seen. Not so that we can be seen as the light, but that God's truth in our lives can shine forth so that the fires can remain burning. And it's true, a city set on a hill can't be hidden. Jesus isn't suggesting that we be hidden. If we don't want to defend our city, better to hide in a cave and try to hide the light. But he says, no, you're a city on a hill like the New Jerusalem, and that your lives have to make an impact. And Jesus's life made an impact at great cost. That we would be invited as salt and light, as followers of Jesus, to be the catalyst that makes the world a better, more understanding, more capable place. That we would assist the fires that they burn and not die down. That we would be the light that allows us to see what is around us. Jesus offers us a new vision of what is around us. He offers us a catalyst to keep the fire burning. And he asks us to be the same. And so, even if it's not altogether peaceful, even if the dung smells a little bad while it's burning, Jesus invites us to be that salt, the catalyst. He invites us to be that light that shines, to show what is hidden in darkness, and to make our world a brighter place so that we can see what is true around us, and maybe even so that we can see something of the Father's love for us, his children.